Welcome to A Course in Miracles.
Yes.
Wild and crazy people. Let's take a moment to arrive in the room. We spend our days getting and getting. Getting sleep. Getting food. Getting gas for our cars. Getting respect at work. Getting the right temperature in the room so you can get comfortable.
Body, body, body.
Get. It's an absolute habit and a requirement of living in a body. Getting. Quicker you get it, the better. Sometimes try never to get that. But getting is the rule. Let's spend a few moments in silence just thinking about what does it mean to receive versus get. Just feel what it means to receive. You know what it means to put in effort to get so you can have. Now, what might it mean to have by receiving? What does it mean if somehow you are wholly willing to receive? In both flavors, you end up with something. What is the difference between getting and receiving? And finally, are you willing to be in a mode of receiving now? What's the difference? Does that feel different? When I say getting versus receiving, it feels the same?
Yeah. It
Feels totally different?
Totally different.
Talk to me.
When I get something,
Yes?
since it's in my hand, I can do without it. No matter what it is, as soon as I get it, I can live without it. I don't need it anymore. But when I receive something, it stays with me. It stays with me.
It's interesting. It sounds like the receive is an internalization, acceptance,
Yeah.
and the getting is more of a having or the external.
It's a spontaneous type thing where it has to be in that at that moment, and then it's over. I can give it up.
It's informed.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. That's two qualities. That's different qualities for sure.
Yeah, it's everything's relative, and you have to talk about getting,
Yes.
to talk about receiving. You can't talk about one without the other.
Yeah.
You can't explain one without the other.
Yeah.
And receiving for me is it stays with me.
It's very different.
Right.
Yeah. We use a lot of words and we use a lot of mental work in here to understand these sentences. But, of course, the goal in the end is how you feel. And it feels really different when you describe those two things.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
It is different.
Yes.
It is different.
And in this class, in this book, and I think in our lives, the difference of feeling something that is a fulfillment, or let's say a feeling that would become your guide, that you would choose to embrace, like the way I heard you describe receiving. I think you would choose to receive more than get, just based on how you describe those two words. Now somebody else may have it completely reversed. The words do not matter. It is the experience, the feeling that follows from trying to throw these symbols into the room, into the air. The words are all symbols, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But we don't need to remember any of the words that he spoke to feel and understand what he communicated. And I hope that's what we end up with each night here when we come away. It's not what we said. It's what happened, what you experienced. And that's what an awakening is. That's what a spiritual awakening is. It's not that you learned something, or you memorized something, or understood anything. No, it's rather that you have advanced toward awakening to your own guide. The direction that you want to go in, I'm further tonight. I don't even know what happened. I can't remember what was said, but I know I'm further. I hope you don't remember the words. Because you'll be stuck then in the past trying to tell somebody else, well, this is what we said. It will fall flat. I guarantee you. You tell somebody else. This book is the most perfect example. Because we'll read something in here, and it's written down, okay? And we'll read it in here, and we'll laugh, and we'll cry, and we'll reread it 5 times, and then you go outside of this room, and you tell somebody this sentence, and they'll say, what? What did you say? Fears an unconscious call for what's been denied? What kind of gibberish is that? And it won't make sense to you either.
That's true. I experienced that.
Yes.
I try to tell it to someone, and of course, that someone is just a friend who's going through a difficult time, and after, of course, but anyway, I looked at what I told him, and I'm like, he probably thinks I'm insane. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, because what we have here is we surface the content, which is what you did. You took these 2 words that are just dictionary words, and I expect all of us did this, and we surface the content. Form is, immaterial to the content. Very good.
Definitely the receiving is an internal thing. It's in your thoughts and, even in your extensions. That's the receiving doesn't, for me, it didn't come from out here. It came from in here. I mean, when I thought about how I see somebody as innocence or extend love, I thought about how I receive that as opposed to somebody give me something, did I receive something?
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
The kind of the thought that kind of went through my mind was the difference between getting and receiving was that when I am striving to get, what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to promote my own specialness and my own distinctness from the whole system that I'm in, as opposed to receiving is sort of it is the acquisition of that which I was already intended to have all along, as opposed to that which I'm trying to get to separate from everything that's around me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And in that receiving, what I'm actually doing is I'm following along the whole intention of my purpose, as opposed to trying to separate from it to acquire something that will separate me from what I'm here to achieve, and what I'm here to serve as and be a part of.
Can you show me with your body or your hands what does it look like to get? Anybody? Everybody? What does it look like to get?
Grasping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what he said.
And now, what does it look like to receive?
Same thing.
It's the openness.
Yeah, just absorb it.
The hands are the other way.
Yeah, it's upside down. Yeah.
She's got her hand on her heart.
Goes empty, and the gap is on the surface.
She's like holding it in, and the other one's trying to get it in. When you get your hands like over the over top, and then receive, maybe it's underneath. You put it in, or I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it out when I get it, like you were describing. I'm just going to what was designed for me. What is it within my function and purpose? I'll now receive. The prodigal son went out to get. He got from his father his inheritance, and he went off down the road, off the farm. He went to go get his happiness. And he spent all the money. And he ran out, and now he's getting hungry. He's out of money, so he's watching the pigs in the town eating. He says, "Oh my God, my father had pigs in the farm, and they're eating better than I am. I should go back to the farm and offer my services as a servant on the farm, so that I can at least be fed what the help is fed on the farm."
But he didn't have to do that.
No, he went back onto the farm, and he was received by his father, and his father said, "You shall receive what you are. You are my son again." There's a lesson in the course that says, "Father, I am your son again."
It's that oneness thing, what you said.
And the prodigal son comes in complete humility, and he's hoping to receive the lowest level, but of course he receives much more. The father has actually given his son. The father is so ecstatic that the son receives his real inheritance, his father's complete love.
Wow.
And
That's
a home.
So beautiful the way you explain that.
The finest dress and the best meal they can make. Would you please receive the son? I'm so glad you returned home.
Great.
Bring out the patted calf.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that skinny one.
Yeah.
Get the best one we have. Yeah. Yeah, receive.
But you used the term "he was received,"
Yeah.
which is different from what we were doing in the meditation. The getting is intentional. And it puts me in the position of the decider, or I'm trying to control. So I'm going to a particular place to get a particular thing.
Right.
Kind of.
Right.
Whereas receiving someone outside of me is deciding what I should have, or it is bestowing the bounty, as it were. So it's an inversion of
Yes.
the God, basically the God role.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
I'm in control, and
Yes.
something else.
Yes. This is key.
But I liked what you said about is received. So how am I received if I'm trying to give a particular role, image of myself? If I'm a salesman of a particular product, as it were.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with your first
versus received.
Yeah, let's start with your first part, because it's very significant what you said. Getting is I know what I need, and I'm going to go get it.
I know what I want.
I know what I want. I know when I want it. I'm going to go get it. And when? Oh, right about now.
Where's
Bang!
that chocolate cake?
You know, I was just thinking about that today. Or yesterday, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I'm with my life the way it's going right now, I was just thinking about that. Well, this is what I want, but it looks like I'm not going to get it. But this person is offering me something that I don't really want, but for some reason I was meant to be there. So, whatever.
Well, on the same topic as what David said. You got any more? You're right on it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's just my example.
All right.
That's all I know.
That's really good. Stay with that. Jump in it again if you like.
But so also, getting on the outside is thinking that you need something, which means you don't have everything you need right now, which means it's the opposite of the awareness of wholeness.
Yeah.
Because
Lack.
It's like we have everything we need, and that separation thing is what really struck a chord with me when he said that. Is needing something is thinking, believing.
Yep.
This perception that we're not already complete, that we need.
And getting is driven. It's driven by I know what I need.
That is the biggest mistake right there.
Some
If you
days-
haven't any idea what that
Yep.
means.
Yep.
What am I going to do?
Yep.
If you're upset to begin with,
Yep.
there's no chance of you ever finding out.
Yep. And you're very busy getting what you think very personal, what you think you need.
I am busy, yes.
Now, don't bother me with that thing that you want to give me. I'm too busy getting right now.
Exactly.
I know you want to give me something, hold off, you want to give me something to do. I got to get something. I'll be back.
Yeah, that's so true.
Wow.
When I'm done, I'll be back to see maybe if what you have is of any interest to me at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
This
So
is
the ego is really in charge then.
That's why I said in meditation, what is it like to
what
be
am I-
wholly willing to receive? Isn't it a different mode? It feels so different, doesn't it?
That's taking the do out of it. Yeah.
And also touches on what Eric said, which is when you're wholly willing to receive, it means you're a bit trusting that you're receiving what is for you. What is either designed for you or you designed for it. And now it's just going to come together.
Right.
This is a wonderful dance.
Almost as if like reciting the lines of a play that I've been given instead of trying to write my own lines on stage.
Yeah,
And just allowing the without fully, well, I guess, fully. That's the thing. Is he goes, no, I want to write my own little bit in here.
Yep. Yeah, the fully. Fully means there's an amount of trust in there. There's an embrace, an acceptance.
Acceptance, allowing what
Letting
is.
go.
Yep, letting go.
Falling into it. Merging and uniting with what is.
Yeah.
Not imposing my own will. Or
Yeah.
at least my own thoughts of what my will are.
Right? And now, if Marcia would again demonstrate for us, what does it look like to receive? That's what it looks like. Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, she got it. She's the experience of it.
Yeah.
I need do nothing is receiving.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you're receiving is already here.
We already have, but
It's an
we're
act of
becoming aware.
completeness.
Sometimes it's hard to let it in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, yeah.
receiving is not something I take for granted.
Yeah.
For me.
I got the gratitude and the receptiveness to it, but I'm just saying that it wasn't God help me kind of thing. It was more it's already there.
Well, that. Yeah. Okay. It's a little different for me, but.
Yeah, we discover you'll never find that love came to you. You discover that the love is awakening in you.
Right.
This is when love brings the tears.
It was always there.
Yes, and it's welling up in you. Maybe because we saw something, you heard something, and somebody was really kind to you. And then, see what's happening is the love in you, I think what Dave is talking about, is you find out it's just, wow, it has awakened in you and wants to be shared. It wants to give. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So, anybody else before we jump into tonight's reading?
That's the whole purpose of the of extending that truth or that caring or loving or whatever. That's exactly what we're here to do. And so we proceed to do it. It feels pretty good when you do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's that
You know, we're going to learn much later in the book, but we're going to be studying what it means to have what the Course calls vision. Christ vision. Even when you're here, this is where you need it. But it is the ability to perceive that which you would receive. The ego says, use your eyes to see things that can hurt you.
Right.
But we're with a healed perception, we can now receive absolutely everything you see. This is Christ's vision then. And the Holy Spirit's job is to translate what your body's eyes and your ego thought was this type of person, or that sort of phrase, or that kind of insult, or that kind of act, etc. Translates that into holiness.
bypassing the ears and the eyes of the body.
Yes. Yes, because the eyes and the ears and the body may feel pain and blood and degradation and starvation and all that sort of thing. Sure. With a spiritual awakening, and what an essence of a miracle is we're moving our perception of discrete material things that can harm and will harm and die, things like that, to understanding what they truly are. Look, either spirit is or it is not. And Christ's vision is when we awaken to seeing spirit everywhere, in everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes. In everybody.
And everything from spirit. The ego would conveniently forget the source of all things. Because no, you better worry about the consequence of all things. Money, life, how you look, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, we are here to have a reversal of what the ego will show you. And you will want to receive absolutely everything. Because you will know its true source. Including you. Yeah. Okay, let's dig in. All right, we are on page 341 in the text.
What's that?
341 in the text.
341 in the text. This is chapter 16, section 5. And it's called The Choice for Completion. And we're on paragraph 2. Okay. And I really have to go back and just read the last sentence or two of the previous paragraph so this all flows. Okay. He says, well, I'll just read the whole paragraph. He says, in looking at the special relationship, it's necessary first to realize that it involves a great amount of pain, anxiety, despair, guilt, and attack. All enter into the special relationship, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone. All these must be understood for what they are. You see, whatever form they take, they're always an attack on the self to make the other guilty. I've spoken of this before, but there are some aspects of what's really being attempted that have not been touched upon. We're digging into the special relationship, folks. Okay. Now remember, from last week, that sentence 4, he says, whatever form they take, and that are these maneuvers of the special relationship, whatever form they take, They're always attack on the self to make the other guilty.
The other guilty. That's because it's our guilt. And we're projecting it out and trying to have the other person feel guilty.
Well, you want to make yourself hurt. You see, in the special relationship, you want to show how much pain you're feeling so that the other person will feel guilty and apologize.
Right.
And then you've purchased their sympathy, see? Don't you see how much you hurt me, Wendy, when you said that? Or when you ordered dinner without asking me what I wanted to eat, you ordered for both of us? You feel like my freedom's been taken away.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. It's your fault. Then now I have to eat something that we can barely afford to buy anyway, and you ordered it for both of us. Don't you see how hard this is for me to have to sit through and eat this?
Sure. You can always be.
And what we get from that...
Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. I really should have. I thought you liked this, but I guess you really don't. And now, I thought I was doing the right thing. Well, I know you thought you're doing the right thing, Eric. But, now I'm just telling you that, this give me indigestion. And I already spilled some on my pants. And, I don't order stuff with red sauce for that very reason. He's like, oh, geez, I didn't realize. Red sauce, I'm so sorry.
So how does that serve
right?
us?
So now what he does is he says, I'm sorry. He has to. It's getting miserable. It's getting worse by the second. He's going to come across the table. He said, wow, how can I make this better? Because I'm starting to feel really guilty here and uncomfortable.
Pay for it.
Yeah. And so, but I'm buying his sympathy, right? We do this in our special relationships, especially when we're feeling weak and we feel bad for ourselves or bad about the other person. We'll start making the other one feel guilty, but first you got to make yourself weak, see? That's what that sentence says. Yeah. First you got to make yourself weak so that Eric will stand up and say, wow, I am so sorry. How can I make this better?
That's because we don't want to take responsibility.
That's right.
We want the blame to lay on someone else. So, so that's why we do that. Yeah.
That's why we do that. Yeah. That's right. It's twisted. The Course is calling us out on it. It's twisted because in order to do that, you, who are the ultimate authority on your life and your attitude, you have to tell yourself you're weak.
Right.
The Course says, look out. In your effort to purchase sympathy by making the other person guilty, you have to first knock yourself down so you look really low. See? Even right? You're going to start to believe this. And then the other person has to... Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Special relationship, essence of special relationship. Right?
It seems like it's a manipulative ploy.
Oh, yeah.
To get what we want.
Yes.
But it's also at the same time disacknowledging the guilt that we harbor in ourselves and projecting it out on another person.
Right.
And then trying to crucify them for that guilt instead of allowing ourselves to own up to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Projection of our own guilt.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yep.
That's exactly right.
The Course also calls it, this trait of victimhood. Oh, I'm a victim. It wasn't me. Yeah. Yeah. All we're doing here is we're surfacing these things so you can be aware of...
That's really an attack on the other person, right?
Yes.
That's attacking them.
After you attack yourself, you use your beaten self that you just attacked. You just decided you're hurt. You went against the first page of this book and you said, I am vulnerable. And you got to my vulnerability and hurt me. The first page of this book says,
invulnerable,
nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Now get over it.
Get over.
He says, not ready? All right, let me write a book.
I did it to myself, is what it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So he's calling us out on this special relationship, and we feel so bad, first because we made ourselves feel bad. We received the pain. We actually idolized the pain. We illustrated the pain to the other person. And they said, what? I didn't get that, Mario. What's wrong? And he says, I'm really upset. I'm pissed. You made me so angry. You hurt me so much. I don't understand. How did I hurt you? Well, because of this and this and this and this. Well, why is that bad? Because When I feel that way, then this happens. It always happens, and I can't sleep, and the dog won't sleep either, and the whole neighborhood's up after a while, all because of what you said. Wow, I feel really bad.
You hurt my heart.
You got into hurt my heart.
Yeah, right.
You hurt my
Wow.
Yeah, if you can get that tear out.
Really getting the drama out of it.
If you get a tear to go, Mario.
That's capital G.
Wow, then I'm gonna.
Oh wow. That's
Sympathetic neurons are gonna fire, and I might cry too. I'm so sorry. What can I do?
That doesn't mean we don't.
Most people won't even say they're
What?
sorry. They'll be defensive when you
That
do
doesn't mean we
Oh,
don't
sure.
correct that.
That's
They're
correct.
going to defend
Yes,
because
indeed.
they can't handle that.
React and project back.
Even if they know, yeah.
Now, Mai says that doesn't mean we don't correct when somebody does something that is uncomfortable, offensive, a continual pattern that makes life tough for you.
Description, yeah.
There's a lot.
No, it doesn't mean you don't correct your partner in a relationship. When you've agreed to share, the greatest thing is the sharing itself. Now, what I'm talking about is the opposite of sharing. It's attack. It's division. I want you to fix my problem. That's not sharing. Mai says, how do we do this? Yeah, it doesn't mean we don't correct. We would absolutely correct. We would say our truth. But if you say it without the sense of attack, without the sense of victimhood, without the sense of suffering,
Goes away.
yes. And not only that, the other person also stands up, just like Eric did a moment ago, but instead it's really, how can I help? My turn. Okay. I can help. And it's now I want to receive. Because I need help. And he wants to give it, because we're sharing. It's way different than he's guilty.
His
It's way...
intention is coming from a loving place
Yes.
rather than you did this to me.
Correct.
Or you hurt me.
Exactly.
Wait till you're in a state of mind where you're feeling really neutral.
Yep.
And then anything you say is okay.
Anything you say is okay because you're
Right.
honestly not defending.
Yeah. If you're still hurt, don't speak.
You bet.
One interesting catch 22.
Not defending.
So when you're in a situation and someone's upset, and if you've already made a boundary, I'm going to walk away when you start raging or whatever you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of, because that seems like a nice safety route, like, you set a boundary, you don't take other people's guilt or shame, and you can be there for them, but at some point it's just either the volume,
Mm-hmm.
the intensity of the rage, or the insanity of the rage.
Yes.
But who needs it? Just talk to the wall.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's like, but people have told me, why don't you just, tell people in that situation, next time I'll walk away, or,
Mm-hmm.
But people don't like that either,
No.
because they're not being heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, knowing the course,
It takes a lot to be
it's true. And sometimes the right thing to do is to leave in situations where, say, there's physical harm or, you find yourself ducking the fists.
But you tell them, you don't just leave, it's not abandonment, you tell them, I'll be back in half an hour, I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah.
Instead of just leave, because, everybody's going to be
No, it's a
triggering
preset
abandonment
boundary,
rejection.
I said.
What?
I said it was a preset boundary.
Yeah.
So you just say,
Yeah, I like that.
in the future.
And
Yeah,
if
that's
they beg
right.
you not to leave, you
Nice.
still leave, but you come back in a set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without anger, just.
Because it'll escalate if they're in it, you can look at one.
And like what you said, in maybe more mellow times, you set these boundaries. Yeah. You say, sometimes our discussions get so loud that I don't want to.
Or confusing.
Or confusing. Yeah, we want to reset, and we'll do it an hour later.
Yeah.
And then you show up an hour later, and you're still involved and
Because you're
not
honoring the
abandoning.
person, you're just not honoring their toxicity.
Yeah, because the ego has the ability in this toxicity, in this confusion or anger.
Manipulation.
What?
Manipulation is scary.
Yeah, it has sort of a self-fulfilling cycle. The attack and defense becomes defense and attack, and then it's just like a little storm. And you just need certainly a break in the ego. And what we're learning in Course in Miracles is that you can do that break in your ego by usually applying your lesson of the day, or remembering that you could choose peace instead of this. You learning how to forgive yourself for your peace and whatever's going on. We learn this you call it the hard way or the easy way. Depends on how you're doing the course. Well, we learn to break the cycle of the ego with what we're doing here, so that it won't escalate like that. And the other side can keep spinning up and up and up, but without your fuel, it won't spin as far as fast.
Right. It won't. Yeah, the fuel can't burn. I usually will ask myself, as the Course says, would I rather be right or would I rather be happy? And then I remember that this other person isn't the problem, that I'm my problem. Mm-hmm. And if I can do that, then that kind of brings me into a place where I can take this moment as a classroom lesson.
Yeah.
Where I'm learning to atone for the miscorrection that we're both engaging in right now. We're both trying to gain some kind of ground. We're defending some kind of illusionary ground.
Right.
That doesn't really even exist.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yes.
That is beautiful.
Yes. I would receive my present happiness.
Yeah.
Present happiness. Happiness as a present. In the present.
That's right, it is a present.
In the present. Happiness. Present. Now.
I'd rather be right or I'd
Present.
have almost all arguments really come down to
So true.
because that's what people really want is to be right out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once for the rest.
Yes.
Find that peace.
Yes.
Rather than wanting peace above all else.
I can escape the world I see by giving up attack thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
That's just a lesson title.
That's a workbook or?
Workbook.
Yeah.
That's a workbook. Yeah. Okay, let's dig in. All right. Whatever form they take, they're always an attack on the self first to make the other guilty. All right, so here we go. Paragraph 2. Very simply, the attempt to make guilty is always directed against God.
Yeah, that's...
What? God, who pulled God into this relationship?
Yeah, wow.
I had a problem with Marcia, that's all. She would just straighten up and fly right. Show me a little more love that I'd like.
We're all one? Is that the faux pas here? We're all one?
We're all one. Yeah. For the ego would have you see God and God alone as guilty, leaving the sonship open to attack and unprotected from attack. See, the ego needs to make the game, shall we say, absolute. You cannot win. You have to come to the ego to survive. Ultimately, the ego is going to pit you against the largest possible enemy there is. So the ego will always be there to save you, and that's how the ego will survive. Relationships and people come and go, but ultimately it's you against God. Ultimately, it's you against God. This
Not
is
the first time.
right. You want to say more?
Well, yes, if you start out like page 584 and you read what follows that for a few pages, you really get the full picture of what happened, how often, and we sucked it up instead of laughed like hell at it.
We had a tiny mad idea.
Really was mad.
Mad, crazy idea. We could be separate from all that is.
Yeah.
But we had to remember not to laugh at such a silly idea. And then in our desire to forget the truth of oneness, now what we smoked up could be seen as real. You're that powerful. You could actually forget your Father's all-inclusive nature. Yeah.
We don't want to hear the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's how deep the rabbit hole goes, right? In that sentence, right? It's
like basic Oedipal.
The what?
So it seems very Oedipal. Kill your father.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Freud may have, despite his spiritual lackluster, may have stumbled onto something.
Yes. Yes. For the ego would have you see God and God alone is guilty, leaving the sonship open to attack and unprotected from attack. The special love relationship is the ego's chief weapon for keeping you from heaven.
Oh,
I thought time.
I agree.
Good memory. Good memory. Yes, indeed.
The relationship is
Troublemaker.
it's
Jeez.
synonymous.
Yeah, that's right. The chief weapon is, yeah. All right. The special relationship does not appear to be a weapon. But if you consider how you value the special relationship and why, you'll realize what the special relationship must be. And all we're saying here is that we are investing in the special relationship as a source of our happiness. David, we can together, we can do it. We can be perfectly defended against all the bad things. If we just
Us against the world.
join and us against the world, we're soulmates.
Separate, protected from love and separation.
Yeah. I mean, we have to laugh over it because, so help me God, it's so painful. We've all been there, done that stuff.
Oh, but that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
That's what we say. But you're right. Eventually we wake up. Eventually we wake up from that same, we just, you had enough times at it and you start to question whether, am I really following the right assumptions here?
If you're not at peace or you feel a twinge of pain, you're not.
You might wonder, what am I holding you up to be in this special relationship? What kind of demands am I really making on you? Huh.
Just freedom.
Maybe freedom would be a better idea. Okay. So, the special relationship is a way now, you can now take whatever you think you're missing and fill it. You got to hunt and find somebody who's got.
Wait.
Yeah.
You already found me.
Oh, that's right. I didn't mean to look elsewhere. I was just doing an example, David. Don't get so upset.
He doesn't want you to get away from special. Oh, that was good.
I hope you're feeling guilty.
Yeah, I am. I'm so sorry.
You're feeling really vulnerable.
I am so sorry.
The role playing, really.
That's right.
But don't look at me like you look at your mother. I'm not your mother. Oh, can of worms, right? Forever. Now, so I'm just saying, that's how deep this rabbit hole goes, see? We're blocking out heaven, or you might say our vision of wholeness. Heaven is his vision, understanding of wholeness, oneness, infinity. Right? Blocking that out with a special little relationship. Okay, now. Okay, let's continue. Paragraph 3. The special love relationship is the ego's most boasted gift, and one which has the most appeal to those unwilling to relinquish guilt. The dynamics of the ego are clearest here, for counting on the attraction of this offering, the fantasies that center around it are often quite overt. Here they're usually judged to be acceptable and even natural. Look, no one considers it bizarre to love and hate together. And even those who believe that hate is sin merely feel guilty, but do not correct it. This is the supposedly natural condition of the separation. And those who learn that it's not natural at all seem to be the unnatural ones. For this world is the opposite of heaven, being made to be its opposite, and everything here takes a direction exactly opposite of what is true. In heaven, where the meaning of love is known, love is the same as union. Here, where the illusion of love is accepted in love's place, love is perceived as separation, and exclusion. Love is perceived as separation and exclusion. That's what the special relationship is. Separation, just you and me, baby. Nobody else.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, answer me a question. In that special relationship with the wedding band,
Yeah.
what does that represent?
Yeah. That represents a union that is chosen in the eyes of God and man to be a holy matrimony. A holy joining. So it's so special that God approved of it.
Okay.
This is a really good one.
Now,
And if God approved of it, and I bought you a nice shiny ring that you put on in front of everybody who was watching, that means you agree that you'll stay special till death do us part.
yeah.
Ooh.
Now it's interesting that from the heart, okay, there's a main artery and sensor that goes right out to that finger.
Oh.
And that's the damn finger we put the ring on.
That's the one the ring cuts
Which
off?
gives us a nice clutch, okay, on the heart. Woohoo!
Interesting.
Isn't that nice?
We planned it from
Yeah. That's why.
That was an analogy, or that was
No, that's true.
On the left
Say it
hand,
again.
the
Chinese
valves come
here.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, there is a main sensory artery that goes to the heart that comes right up to that finger.
Wow.
And so you put a piece of metal on there, right, to stymie and cut off that energy. Really wow. But that's just one of 1,000 different things. that you
Completes
did.
it. It makes it.
No, I was just.
That's very interesting.
Now, look, it's not...
I never heard that.
There's no rule that says you have your relationship is separate, or that the idea of getting married means you're even more separate, or that the idea of ring of a completed circle and the union and forever thought. Look, it's all about intention. Now, most of the times, well, indeed, what it is so special you're not allowed to break it. Of course. But what we're going to learn as we read on is all your holy relationships start as special relationships.
Yeah, not just marriage.
Yeah. You can't not have special relationships if you are in a body. Because that's a special relationship. Right there.
Just
I mean,
our senses are getting in the way.
yeah. Now, the Buddhists got it, in my estimation, just right. When they talked about the Bodhisattva vow.
Oh, yeah.
Is where the Bodhisattva vow, and this is where you do your enlightenment work, and you arise. Your awakening is starting to happen and happen and happen. Oh my God, you like Jesus did, and you sense the truth. That all is one, all is love. There is no possible harm. They know not what they do. Everything is not attack. No, it's a call for love. However, I myself will not go to my complete enlightenment until I help all those who are not yet complete. And there is an infinite number.
Is that true?
There's an infinite number.
That's the Buddhist.
This is the Buddhist approach.
Yeah.
Is this-
Yeah, I cannot.
So first it goes like this. There are an infinite number of beings who are in need of enlightenment and struggling in suffering. Infinite number of beings in suffering.
That's not
It's the same concept of the ascension.
And I myself will not take my enlightenment until all others are helped in their suffering, out of their suffering.
Is that the difference between Buddhism and Course?
That's a lot to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to take it literally, it is. But the sentiment is here because there is no part of you that is not healed when you are healed.
It's the oneness.
There's only one needs to get it for the whole mind to be healed.
Right.
And so what you're saying is that I'm willing, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. I'm willing to do my work, and in so doing, I will heal all. All will follow. Completely, all of them. And the beauty of this is infinite number means you can't count them, so don't try.
Yeah.
And Course in Miracles says, I think Course in Miracles is a little more improvement on the feeling of the whole thing. In that, the healing is complete when you are complete.
Yeah.
So your job is to do the atonement for yourself, and that will have an effect on the one sonship. You're connected.
That's one thing I like about the one thing I like about the Course is that it does seem to be a great bridging inclusiveness between Eastern non-duality and Christian Western agape love.
Yes.
And bringing that together and taking out the ego's striving to perpetuate itself into immortality after one's death, and getting that out of the way and realizing that one has always already been the self-realized being in this grand scheme of consciousness.
Yes.
And just getting in touch with that rather than trying to perpetuate the specialness of one's little fractured self into the next world.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Very good, Eric.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
That's kind of what drew me to the Course.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's been really agonizing because I've always been taught that I can actually get my little ego into the next world. I can keep perpetuating my specialness.
Very good.
No, you never were this little special ego. This little story you've been telling yourself. You're the thought decider of this grand self that created the world and separated itself from the beginning, and it's already unraveled and unfolded.
Yes.
The only thing now is just learn the lessons and follow this classroom and listen to my voice, not your own little created ego voice.
Yes. As we learn in this book, the death of the body is not death of the ego. The Sufi saying says, the web that you weave is the web you will live in.
With or without a body.
See that spider works so hard to build a web, and right where they build it and how they build it, and that's where they sit.
Yeah.
Good choice, bad choice, who knows? But that's the web that you built, and that's what you're doing with your egos and identifying with it.
Yeah.
So the voice
The voice. Yeah, that's the thing. The identification, because it really is. It's constant. Like I don't know if you've ever been driving through the country and you get these. You're listening to a radio station that goes from one radio station to the next radio, and it's just back and forth. And, between the truth and then the illusion I guess it is illusion, but it's the voice that I've always listened to of this specialness of this. That I am this little. I'm this Eric Gonzalez that needs to impose myself on this world.
Yes.
And no. You before Eric Gonzalez, you were this. You were you were me. You were us. You were everything that's already been here.
Yeah.
And
you have your wrong mind and your right mind.
Yeah, right. The right and the wrong mind. You're constantly battling. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde going around.
Yes.
In this brain, and it's excruciating sometimes. Immense panic. Adrenal glands, cortisol hormones circulating through my body the struggle.
The good thing is that you notice which one is your ego and which one is the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Right. So that's a good start.
That's it. Yeah. That's the one. The one thing of the one fallback virtue I have is that I recognize the capital T truth. And that's I have my compass is working. At least I believe it's working.
When you feel peace, that's Holy Spirit. And when you're not feeling peace, or you feel a twinge of pain or whatever emotionally,
that's the ego. Yeah. When I begin to feel fear, when I begin to feel fear,
not feeling wholly
taking over
peaceful,
love,
then you know it's the ego.
Yeah. So true.
That's great that you have the awareness.
Yeah. It's and that
then
truth,
you can
man.
catch
It's
yourself,
like,
and you could. You can forgive that, I don't
know if you ever seen the movie The Matrix? There was a movie with Keanu Reeves back in 1998, and there's a scene where he touches this mirror and he touches it, and he just took the pill. He's going to go into the Matrix, and he touches the pill, and this mirror begins enveloping his arm, and it overtakes him, and it eventually takes over his psyche. And I feel that on a regular basis that what in the heck am I? This little concrete finite instantiation of consciousness that I called reality is now being overtaken by this grand scheme, this overwhelming source of being with a capital B, and I must be submerged into it. And I was just this little falsehood.
Which reminds me, once you choose the ego, anything that the ego thought system, then you actually adopt the whole system.
Yeah.
It's one or it's one or it's one or nothing. There's no compromise.
There's no gray area with that. It's,
Yeah.
And it's going back and forth with that. It's like that radio station going in and out, in and out, and creating this harmony of the listener, of this thought decider that I am, this aspect of the sonship.
Yeah.
And
Great.
yeah.
Well, they do warn you.
I know the
You
maker.
have to get the other side of that.
Yeah. That's where the surrender comes in, and the acceptance, and the allowing, and the receiving.
Right. If your name is on it, you're getting. If your name is on it, and your self-esteem is involved, and your recognition is involved, you're getting. But you start getting into this more nebulous, like the mirror example, when you're receiving. It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than you. You're receiving. That's one of those subtle little differences of getting versus receiving.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, this is paragraph 3. Okay, so first he says, the special love relationship is the ego's most boasted gift and the one which has the most appeal to those unwilling to relinquish guilt. Those unwilling to relinquish guilt. Yeah.
I'm not. Can you speak to that?
Okay.
So if I'm unsuccessful in relinquishing guilt, does that mean de facto I'm unwilling?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because guilt is held, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so is ugliness, and so is guilt. Guilt is in the eye of the beholder.
Guilt is in the
Nobody can make you guilty.
I like that.
Every instance of a guilty feeling is just a demonstration that I'm unwilling to relinquish.
That is correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Very good. That's right. That's right. If you feel it, if you feel guilt,
It sucks.
When it sucks. That's right. It does. You bet. Living as an ego sucks in just that way. Yeah. You're propagating the idea of guilt in your head. And as we had a wonderful meditation. God, it's probably been 2 years now, Dick. We had a really great meditation on guilt. We ended up talking the whole night about guilt. What is guilt really?
Yeah.
And
it's a big part of Course in
It
Miracles.
is. It is. Now, what we talked about, in a quick summary, is not what you're guilty of. It's not a guilty for a particular thing or what you've done. No. Not the guilty even from the past or what might happen in the future. What Course in Miracles is talking about is guilt itself is an invention
of the ego.
Yes.
Not the content.
Not the content, not the context. It's the idea of guilt itself. That one thing over here can affect something over there.
That's what
I mean, I recall that, but I really don't remember the details.
It's so essential that you got to simple down and dumb down what you're thinking to make this idea of guilt present. Not for what it does, forget that, but the idea that guilt can even operate in reality. The idea of guilt is that this happens and then that happens. It's a separation of cause and effect.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't happen again, you punish the cause.
Involving time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The Course says it's all one.
Right.
Everything you experience is completely connected.
You get beyond cause and effect.
Thoughts do not leave their source. It's all one. There's no such thing as one thing affecting another. There's only one thing.
Right.
That's how basic this is, what we're talking about here.
Wow.
The singularity of love.
Yes? And of creation. And it's an extension. The ego is believing and inventing projection. I push this over there. I project. And now it's over there, no longer over here. That's separation now of my thoughts. My thoughts left their source. Something's over there. And a lot of times we just do that with attack in our special relationships. I will project on my having done something really insulting to me. You just weren't caring for my feelings when you said that. Okay, and the ego thinks I can do that. Ego says I can attack her, and the attack is over there. And then she's crying and upset and apologizing, or whatever else happens. The Course says, it's not, you didn't, that attack didn't leave you.
It's in your mind, right?
You bet. You just shared attack.
Yeah.
You still got it.
Projected unconscious guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're keeping it. So
The separation. This is an outburst of our separation.
Yes.
From God.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
How could we be guilty if that didn't happen? See? We couldn't possibly be guilty.
Well, especially if God's not taking care of us anymore.
Yeah.
And so we have to fend for ourselves. And so there is a whole bunch of, we're surrounded by a storm of threats that can hurt us. See, guilt's real. Harm can come from the outside. People don't care for us. And therefore I got to defend. So I need to get a special relationship going where I can be safe. I can be safe in my special relationship.
Yeah.
So this is because I believe guilt is real, that vulnerability is real, that I can be harmed, and I can be a victim.
That's the one place you're going to get hurt is in your special relationship, the thing where you're seeking your safety from.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that's where you can get hurt the most.
That's the most.
Yeah,
That's where we think we're going to be safe. Is where we're going to suffer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what we're choosing to feel secure and safe.
But I hope you guys are starting to see that this whole thing is unraveling. That the idea of being safe in a special place where these things don't happen is just idolizing that they do happen, and you got to defend against them. That's why the special relationship is the perfect place if you think guilt is real, and that harm can come to you from another. That another would bring you harm. So choose somebody who doesn't harm you. Choose that one who is perfect and won't harm you.
Is there one?
It's your creator.
Well,
turns out,
be harmed is the need for people to join in these special relationships, right?
Yes,
Believing
there you
that
go.
we're vulnerable.
That's it.
And that the world can do something to us and we become a victim. So then we have this desire to find this one special man or woman that will love me, I love them, and we won't hurt each other. So, wow, you just cracked this huge thing for me.
So now you need...
Because if I didn't believe that anything out there could hurt me, and I knew I was vulnerable, I wouldn't even want the desire to seek a special relationship for protection against the illusion that everything, that something out there can affect me or harm me.
Yes, you need a special harbor from the storm.
Examining that whole belief and values.
If you didn't, you'd be wandering around the world like Mother Teresa. Doesn't she wander any and everywhere? Well, of course she...
She's happy.
Yeah, she was undefended entirely.
Wow.
And so she'd find her wandering through the middle of all sorts of trouble.
Everywhere.
A home everywhere.
Wow.
Home everywhere.
And we are at home. Fear is the stranger, but we believe that we're vulnerable and that something outside us can harm.
So that's what that first sentence says. If you do still believe guilt is real, you should go off and get a special safe relationship with somebody who loves what you love and hates what you hate.
And if you have
perfect. Let's get married.
There you go. No conflict.
So that you can be both.
No conflict.
No conflict.
No conflict.
Sign here.
Be meant
right?
Yeah, right.
We're having a hell of a time in Japan right now with that
special
problem
relationship,
too.
no
That she's talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So sentence 1, paragraph 3. The special love relationship is the ego's most boasted gift and one which has the most appeal to those unwilling to relinquish guilt. It's a safe place for you. The dynamics of the ego are clearest here. For counting on the attraction of this offering, the fantasies that center around the special relationship are often quite overt. Oh, you are my knight in shining armor. Oh, you're the one who... You got to pull out some phrases from love songs for me now.
Every love song, I build the world around you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's his name?
D-I-V-O-R-C-E.
Louis Armstrong.
Like a knight in shining armor from a long time ago. I take you to my castle far away.
Which song is that?
That was the Peter Cetera "Glory of Love" song, 1980, circa 1987, Karate Kid Part 2 soundtrack.
You are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings.
The wings of...
Imagine wings with no wind. No. Together we...
Yeah.
We will fly.
It's a pseudo-unity. It's a
All
unity
of
of
those
egos at the exclusion of the separateness that we project outwards. We will find this unity that we've excluded God from, and we will find this place within ourselves. Until, like you were saying, until the first imperfection pops up.
Yes. So these are the fantasies of the special relationship. We did fantasies a couple weeks ago, remember? Yeah. And a fantasy is your desire to believe in a story that isn't true.
So when
because you want it. Yeah.
Heavy metal.
I can't go on without.
Oh yeah.
Oh, killing me softly.
Yeah.
These love songs are specialness songs.
They are specialness songs.
It keeps you in that illusion.
Yes.
It makes it real.
it takes you back.
The ego
It
just...
takes you back. It'll draw you
And
back.
then you start feeling sad.
Oh, wait a minute. They played that at our wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all part
Yes.
of it.
Some enchanted evening. There you'll be.
You know when I
You will see a stranger.
Can't live without you. Can't.
Right. I can't live. Living is without you.
Yeah, I mean, think just that word.
It feels so great when you're in it, but I mean, if you think that other person will save you, then when that person is gone or something happens, or something changes, which always changes constant, then you're screwed. Because if that person is gone, then you're like, I'm dying. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's how I feel. It's like I rely on this person to make me happy, and if this person's not going to be there for me one day, then my life ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm just finding out. You just got to stay in the honeymoon.
Oh, sad.
The honeymoon.
Yeah.
You got to stay in it.
And imagine if you get out of the specialness, you get a honeymoon with everybody.
Right.
What if everybody was worthy of your love?
Yeah.
Instead of one person.
Yeah.
That's it.
What if everybody and everything was for your good?
Yeah.
And that's what the love that we want.
Isn't it? Isn't all the lessons here for that? This is a question.
The man has spoken.
That's it.
The enlightened one. Yeah. When you stop resisting, when you stop putting demands on things, and you start receiving instead of getting, everything shows up as providing you for your good. Exactly what you need right then.
Yeah, that's right.
As we learn to listen to the Holy Spirit in us, because you get this feeling, or as Robert was showing us, there's an experience to receiving that's worthy of maintaining. Whereas the things that you get, you can give them up. They come and go. They're not really being holding on to. Doesn't have this gravitas of value.
Yeah. When I'm in my correct mind, or when I would say in my what I would call full connectivity and spiritual attunement, I'm able to look at other individuals and see them as a reflection of myself, as a permutation of this Godhead, of this sonship that's come here, and there is no difference. There's just this love, and the more I'm able to see the love in them and my forgiveness in them, it's almost the more I'm able to love and forgive myself.
Yep.
That brings that inner peace.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't even
That's
see
right.
age.
I
don't see age, or I see it all one.
Yes.
I don't see age.
Now the best.
Yeah.
Just wait.
The
Just wait. Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Just wait time. That's what the ego is like. Don't forget this time, and you're going to get up.
You're decomposing this very second.
Now, this is very nice, rosy discussion going on here. I'm very glad to hear it, of course. But the most advance you will make is when you can have this receiving of love in an angry or violent situation.
Right. Yeah. In the storm.
In the storm. This is most likely where your spiritual awakening will occur. A lot of the meetings you'll go to are about feeling good, and I'm glad, and definitely, and books you'll read, and that's all good. And this book will give you some great pages where you will feel absolutely wonderful. All that's really good.
I mean, it's easier.
Yes.
Yeah. It's harder when you're in a storm and you have to be at peace than it is to surround yourself with peaceful people. It's easier to be peaceful.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And you'll find more peaceful or happy people to be around when you learn how to reject the storm that's coming from you.
I was going to say, the external storm I'm able to handle these days pretty much. It's the internal storm that I have the hardest time with. It's feeling those ways.
Yes, indeed.
Because that's the only storm, really.
Because perception is reality. And it's the dealing with my own perceptivity and the illusions that my ego's always trying to impose. That this isn't the way things really are. You know? And dealing with that storm and being that silent witness and observing what's going on gets muddled in that storm, that inner storm. The external storm I'm much better at dealing with now. But the inner storm, man.
That's all we can do.
That's what Jason said.
Yeah.
Your inner storm is decomposing.
So you know witness of your own.
So that's what these workbook lessons do, is they have us deal with our inner storm. And the outer storm too, of course. But it tries to catch you throwing lightning bolts on yourself and flooding yourself and freezing yourself out. All these storm conditions.
It feels awful when you do it.
Yeah. Our own evaluation. These are what judgments are. And our own private thoughts condemning what's going on. And of course you're going to feel lousy. You will feel lousy. I don't know whether the person around you cares, but you are going to be feeling lousy. And that is what you're feeling.
And that's what we're giving ourselves.
Yep. So that's a healing of the mind that will have immediate effects. And I'm saying that the most powerful that you will ever have is when you're in an angry or a dangerous or an unhappy situation and you decide, this is enough. I'm going to choose peace starting right now. I'm going to try this forgiveness thing right now.
In the midst of it.
In the midst of it. Yeah. You can do it anytime.
Yeah.
But the most powerful times is when
middle of it.
You drop it.
Say powerful, that's when you get the most healing.
You will make most feeling, the most shift, the most memorable advance, and the highest denial of the ego. The highest what denial is not strong enough. The highest illustration the ego's not real.
Yes.
The highest exposure of the ego's nothingness.
Witness of truth.
The highest exposure of the ego's nothingness will occur when something really dangerous is about to happen.
You're not attached to it.
And you just let it go.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, it just...
What does it look like? What are we talking about here? These are a bunch of words.
It sounds so delicious when you say that, because it's like I want to be closer and closer to experiencing that.
What's a miracle?
Shift in perception.
A shift in perception. You allow that. Now, practically speaking, here's what it looks like. You're in the middle of this argument and things are starting to escalate, right? Well, I want this, and I want this, and you want... Right? It's escalating?
Yes.
And you feel your angst, right? And your fists are closing, and you're upset, and you feel like you're unfairly treated?
Yeah.
That's when it's time for a miracle. That's what we're talking about. This is a negative, harmful situation. It could be the end of your relationship as you know it.
That's the lesson right there.
Now's the time. You can do it any other time too, of course. But now, if you can somehow remember that when you're tightening up, it's time to loosen.
Time to breathe.
Breathe.
Stop thinking.
Do what your grandma told you when you were 6 and count to 10.
Do it in
what?
the moment. I can do it if I can have a little bit of space.
Right.
But in the moment,
the real time.
it's still...
But that's what it's necessary.
But you just said it, Marcia. I can do it when there's a little bit of space. And what we're talking about is cracking that very tightly woven chain of the ego's rationale to make some space. I know it's not easy, but by God, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's really simple, but it's not really easy, depending on how much ego you have.
Because that's the block. The ego is the block. It tends to interfere with that because it wants to continue.
Yeah.
It wants to
win. It wants to be right.
Yeah. Now, what we're talking about here is the ego's fantasies are the block. The ego's promises are the block. The ego's stories are the block.
Yeah.
The ego's gifts that you think you want, those are the blocks.
Everything.
The defending is
Okay, the ego itself is nothing. There is no ego.
Only an idea.
It's an idea that you're believing.
Right.
It's an identity that you're taking. It's a source of happiness that you are praying to as you get angry, as you attack, as you say, you hurt me.
Yeah,
That's an attack, right? You hurt me, it's an attack.
Ego on both sides.
That's because you value the body.
Yeah.
Because
And also we value guilt. If I can say you hurt me and you agree, I win.
Yeah.
Because I made you guilty. I get to buy your sympathy,
And
maybe
why do we
maybe get a
want
free
that?
meal out of
How
this.
does it serve us?
What?
How does it serve us? Why do we want that?
Because Eric is going to treat me nicely now. I showed myself a victim
Yeah.
to something he did.
But then it becomes kind of a double-edged sword because now that I've come and I've collapsed my energy and I'm so sorry. Now I don't have anything to blame now. Now I'm kind of upset because now I'm looking at you. I want to find more fault in you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a never-ending
Yes, you do.
sort of cycle.
Now, isn't it your turn?
Yeah.
Once I get some strength back,
Yeah.
Here you go.
you know what works because you felt like crap
Yeah.
when I made you guilty. And I seem to be buoyed. I seem to be the better in the deal there.
Yeah.
Because you went out of your way to make me comfortable. Now you're feeling bad. You're going to just make yourself a little worse. So I'll make you feel comfortable.
Right.
You're going to turn the tables on me
Yeah.
because it seemed to work. So this is why the Course says, do not share your brother's opinion about himself.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that'll take a while to
But the
learn.
Course says that? That's what the Course says? Don't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they feel like they're... Give me an example of that, when don't share.
Well, it comes in the context of healing because it's an even higher challenge for us is when somebody's actually, looks like they're sick
Yeah.
and really hurt. This cancer and broken bones and broken heart, same thing.
Hold the truth about their wholeness.
That's sick. Course in Miracles is all the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Since there's no body, it's all...
It occurs to me, not always, but more frequently, that when there is a conflict, is simply somewhere along the conflict line, the timeline. If you can just say, okay, now, why did I do this to myself? Because if I had not imagined that this is happening, it would have never happened. So it's something that is in my mind that is now out. And I'm in trouble.
Well, I think Marcia would have to speak up and say, well, that's fine if you have enough space to ask yourself this question.
That's right.
She's saying, that's not the way it plays out for me. I am really busy, feeling insulted.
Because the ego's still...
I'm busy feeling hurt, and I need to step back a bit
I need to step back.
to be able to get outside of the hurt.
But it's fine.
Because you're losing your words, right? You're losing your patience, you're losing your words, you're starting to fall apart. And it's getting worse by the minute, and the bad words keep coming.
Blood's boiling.
And now you're saying things you don't want to say, but you got to say something. Things like that. So she's on it. She says, you know what?
That's
The honest truth is, I need some space. You said it exactly, and that's what the need is, and that's where the solution is too. Complete teaching.
It's fabulous when you can do it, because it really needs it.
It's that little willingness.
It's
What do you do then? So how do you...
Little, really little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how is that not separation, differentiation? She's looking for time, space between
Often
me,
there's
who's
physical-
pissing her off and hurting her.
No, she's looking for
physical space.
she's looking for space.
But then you do the forgiveness thing in that time. You don't just
Yeah.
think about round and round and round. How can we do this? Why didn't you
Yeah.
do it?
That's a technique, and that's
I'm
right.
not a blamer, but for me, what I feel is hurt.
Yeah.
So
And
that-
I have to realize that, and one of the things that's already been helpful since I've been coming here is understanding that what I've taken in was experienced as hurt, but the intention was love.
Very good.
And
A call
I need
for
to
love.
be, so I need to reframe my thinking.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That's it. That's it.
Thank you. This has been really helpful.
That's
It-
Me
wonderful.
working on
Yes.
that.
Yes. Now, where she's looking for space from is
Take
not.
responsibility when we take space.
She's not from the situation. It was the situation before. You have to, physically leave and all that. Sure. But now, the truth is coming out. What she needs space from is her own judgments
Damn right.
of what's going on.
I made
That's
this.
right.
My perception.
Your perceptions.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. You need somehow space from your perceptions, which are really, really rotten. They're really, really quite judgmental and bad, and this is harmful and unfair and blah, blah, blah. The person who does whatever they do, they'll say what they need to say. That's their drama. What's hurting is not them, it's you. Yeah. It's you telling yourself what it means.
Yeah.
You're telling yourself what they said means, not what they said. You don't even know what because they don't know. They don't know what it means, what they just said.
I feel slighted. I feel discounted. Whatever.
That's
I don't
all the
feel-
ego.
That's not the intention.
Love.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't care that much about you.
That's
Yeah. I mean,
They're busy thinking about
literally,
themselves. You know that's
last
true
month
because
I
that's
thought
what
my
that's how
friends
you
didn't
feel
like
when
me.
you're yelling.
A few of my friends didn't like me, and it's not.
Yeah,
They didn't like me.
it's not them.
It was my
It's you.
perception.
Sure.
So I
It's always us. It's all in our own mind.
Yeah, it's been
Whatever
really
the hell is
fascinating.
going
I forgive
on
what I have
at
made
any
and
moment,
return to God. The
it's
thing
not
is,
out there. It's not
but we
somebody
need
else.
to remind ourselves of the truth that we made it, that we have to take full responsibility for it. We don't want to be right.
We don't like it.
We want to forgive and return to peace.
What I saw in your gestures
I forgive what I have made.
was you felt hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and you expanded to see a call for love in the other person. So the space you were creating was.
But I needed to
circle.
literally step away, step outside of the situation, because I can't do it in the moment yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Too
get there.
painful.
Mhm.
I can't do it yet.
It's a great day when you do.
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. And some of you probably live this, but when you're in the middle of a situation and you can step back from it inside your own head,
That's great.
Can
You don't
you-
have to leave and go anywhere.
you want to wonder what this is like. What happens is, instead of you defending, you allow yourself to receive what's really there. And what happens to the other side of this dance, the one who was so angry and was so high energy, seemingly against you,
Starts to laugh or something.
this is what happens. Instead of you going fighting back and forth, you decide to say something like, after some open-eyed quietness, you say, "Tell me more."
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. You always say that.
Tell you more. Well, I'll tell you more.
That feels
All
lovely.
right? You see how things shifted? See the energy shifted? You started to
You're not defending
receive.
anymore.
You're not defending.
Anymore.
Your defense is a form of an attack, and it's attacking both of you. You're showing yourself that you're vulnerable
You're
because
trying
you
to
need to
right.
defend, and you're showing the other person that they're guilty because you're busy defending.
Exactly.
You see this dance? How
There's a basic
yeah.
Now I
dynamic.
see it.
It's the
that
same
happens.
dynamic with everybody, that whole
Now I
cycle
see it.
that goes round and round.
It's like emotional aikido. Or
So
something.
in that
Yeah.
It's
moment,
like allowing that energy to
Yeah,
come
that's
through you.
exactly what it is.
Wow.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
There's an energy dynamic that happens that when somebody gets riled up, if you get riled up, you jack it up. It's like feeding the fire.
escalation.
Yeah. right.
So when somebody is wound up and angry or whatever, the trick is to bring the energy down.
Amen.
You
To
said,
be calm.
And
Yep.
flow with it.
Yep.
and in order to do that, I have to remind myself that what he's saying, what that person's saying, has nothing to do with me. It has to do with them
Right.
and whatever experiences they've had that led them to say that. And
Does right-
then I could be. When I know that it's really not about me, and I can get to that place, not take it personally, then I can stay there and I just tried it. It happened once this week. Because I didn't care, because I always was interpreted as, oh gosh, he must not love me, or he must not care about me, or he must... See, it's where I took it to the next step because of what he said. What he said had nothing to do with me. It had to do with him. But until I used to say that, until I get it and believe that, when you believe that, you could stand there and not feel like arrows are being shot at you. You could stand there and not... If you really know that it has to do with everything out there and not here.
And it all starts with giving yourself some space. And it will be right in the middle of angst and busy monkey mind thinking of what your next phrase that you can whap them over the head with, and you just won't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're not going to defend yourself? That's right. You do the opposite of what the ego would have you do. And I'm just saying, you know the time to do it is when you are clenching your fists and you're all tightened up and ready to whack them.
Yeah.
Don't.
And then
give yourself some space.
I'll tell you what happened this week. Normally the person will say all these things, and I mean it really doesn't anything resonate true. It's like that person is just upset about a lot of things and saying things that I don't even connect as being true for me, and blaming them. And then if I call them on it by defending myself and saying, no, I meant this and this and that, it wasn't really how I felt. Yes, it was how you felt. So the defense will lead to the escalation. But this time, I let that person say all those things, and I told myself, it has nothing to do with how much he loves you. It has nothing to do with he doesn't care about you. All of my fears of, he doesn't care about my feelings, no compassion. I just reminded myself, this is all about him. And then when I just stayed really quiet, and then I said, I'm so sorry, you're right. But this time, for the first time, I was making believe when I said, I'm so sorry, you're right. I used to say that to dissipate the fight. But I believe I'm so sorry, you're right, because I said to myself, in his mind, what he's thinking, how he perceived it, he's right. For the way he perceived it, if I perceived it that way, I'd be angry too.
That's really important.
But when I used to say, I'm so sorry, you're right, that was like, I didn't really believe that. I was feeling hurt and angry underneath it, and I was just saying it so that we wouldn't fight, but I was holding the battle in me when I was saying that, and the intention wasn't loving. I was saying it just to dissipate the fight, so that, we could be close again. But this time I was thinking, I'm so sorry, you're right, because you perceived it, you feel it, and that's true for you. So I said, I'm sorry, you're right. And then less than 5 minutes came by, which doesn't happen. Probably this only happened once in 8 years. Came around and he said, no, I'm so sorry. He says, it was me, it wasn't you. Now, if I would have defended myself, from now for years he would never say it was me, because I defended myself. He had to be right and prove that I was wrong. But when I didn't defend myself, and I said, I'm so sorry, you're right, and for the first time I meant,
he felt,
and I didn't believe that he was right in his perception of what he experienced.
No, but
not in what he was saying had nothing so not right. Okay.
Is this somebody you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a stranger.
This is what it means to love somebody. Is that
in minutes, which would have taken eternity, never would have came around.
Are you willing to look through somebody else's eyes?
That's that one moment in challenge.
So what did you really want?
Listen, and how would you do it? You might ask them what they're seeing.
I wanted to be right.
Well,
is that crazy?
No. After
it's actually really not hard.
Is that simple?
It's sane, but it's counterintuitive to what the ego would strive
How will it be seen by the one who is feeling so unloved they have to yell at you when you say, what do you see? Let me see what you see. Tell me. Let me hear. Tell me more.
Yeah.
So I can know.
Yeah.
So I can understand.
I kind of look at it like,
whoa!
It could be a setup, because the thing is, sometimes were they begging for affection?
Why would they beg for affection? Because they weren't feeling it. Because they were needing it. They were feeling unloved.
Or they're needing love.
The energy changed. We went from attack and defense to a reversal.
The ego was totally...
The attack stopped. When the defense stopped,
Okay.
and now there was a sharing.
Okay.
There was a sharing of the situation, and it de-escalates. You bet. Attack and defense is a
But
dance.
it's not that.
You got to watch
Lesson
this.
135 tells us that.
Yep. If I defend myself, I am attacked.
If I defend myself, I am attacked.
You're breathing life into the attack.
Lesson
Exactly.
135 and lesson 153
Exactly.
is about defending.
What happens is a shift in perception of the situation. That allows you to stop defending. That's the space that you need to allow the de-escalation to occur. And now you get back into a sharing mode where you each are willing to reach. But the point is that once you have experienced this, once you have experienced the disempowerment of the ego, the spaciousness that we're talking about, once you just back off and go the opposite way, and you see the results, you will now be empowered to take that risk again.
Oh yeah.
Risk of what? Risk of not defending
Risk
yourself.
of not suffering.
Risk of getting walked on.
Being able to sleep that night.
See, it turns out
Have
that's...
peace of mind all day to function without having emotional pain in your gut. You know.
Or did he
The
say
outcome,
all? Or did he say all those nice
Read it,
things
write a book.
to relieve himself?
Well, I mean,
Of course he doesn't want to be unhappy.
Well, the thing is, it's a big old game.
No, you got to remember this, Mario. Nobody
You want to
wants to be angry.
You're helping that person.
You're angry because you don't have other tools to get what you want.
Yeah.
So yes, the answer is yes. The first chance he gets
The
to
ego's
de-escalate
Yeah.
within his own mind, he'll do it. I'm saying that your Course in Miracles lessons will help you do it sooner. Let you be the one who has a little more strength.
Yeah. Thank you.
You'll bring
Put out the
peace
fire.
to everyone.
yeah, I mean, it's better if you stop it immediately, because if you go into it, you allow yourself to go into the storm, then it's going to be more difficult for you.
That's a girl.
And guess who's going to suffer?
Right.
You know,
Right.
you.
Yep.
You
Okay, we have a few minutes. Let's see if we can finish this paragraph. Unlikely, but let's try it. Okay, maybe we can. Okay, so this is paragraph 3, and he says these are the fantasies in the special relationship start to work their magic, making each other guilty. Here, these fantasies are usually judged to be acceptable and even natural. That you'd have the fantasies of, well, you be the wind beneath my wings, and I will continue to carry you as long as you keep the wind going, and then we'll use my wings with your wind, and we'll be good. Woo! Wow, couple made in heaven. Okay.
Made in heaven.
Yeah.
Made in hell.
Okay. Now, so here we have our happy relationship.
Where are we now?
We're paragraph 3, middle of it, in this happy relationship where you do your part. I'll be the man and I'll make the money, and you be the woman, and you make the house, or you make the money, and I'll keep your car running. How's that? Good deal? Okay, let's do that. All right. So here we go.
I'll take out the garbage.
Okay, so now this says, well, look, he doesn't earn any money, but he really takes care of my car, and he keeps the house painted. And I'm a little frustrated that he isn't pulling his weight financially because my job, and now I don't make that much money myself. But it's okay. It's okay because he keeps the car running and the house painted and waters the lawn occasionally. When I tell him to. Right. Okay, so here's a fantasy that this is working. This is a fantasy, right?
Okay.
So now, here they're usually judged to be acceptable and even natural. No one considers it bizarre to love and hate together. Mm-hmm. I love when you cook. I hate when you use my credit card. Okay.
Oh, this is getting good.
All right. No one considers it bizarre to love and hate together. Even those who believe that hate is sin merely feel guilty, but do not correct it. Of course I should hate when you spend with abandon. You buy things for other people. I just can't. Whoa. Okay. This is the natural condition of the separation. All right? That in separation you would have this kind of competition. And those who learn that it's not natural, that they would have this kind of competition going on, which you take, I lose, and what I give you, I lose. I'm always losing. That's a special relationship. And that's unnatural. That anything I give you, I lose. We learn that. It's in several lessons. We learn that that's unnatural thinking. If I can give it to you, I gain by giving it to you. If you'll receive it, so much the better. But I already won because I gave.
You're only giving to yourself. There's nothing out there.
Those are thoughts I think with God. Those are healed mind thinking. Those are right thinking. All right. That's what we're going to learn is natural. Okay? All right. So,
that's natural.
For this world is the opposite of heaven, being made to be its opposite in everything, made to be its opposite, and everything here takes a direction exactly opposite to what is true. So there's that holy relationship that when I give, I lose, and when you take, I lose. It's the exact opposite of heaven. In heaven, where the meaning of love is known, love is the same as union. In the ego's world, union is a special relationship contract, and it costs. But it's okay, because you hate some things and you love other things, and on the average, you're safe. That's the twisted idea of the special relationship, trying to maintain that balance.
That's why I brought up that thing with the ring, because that was like a contract.
Yes.
Because I was told, because we went to when I had this girlfriend before, she goes, when are you going to give me a ring? I am the ring.
Yeah.
I love that.
But anyway, I always look at it.
He's a poet. He's definitely a romantic guy.
I'm right in it.
Yeah.
The hula.
Yeah, baby. I'll surround you with a big ring. All right. Okay. Hence, where the illusion of love is accepted in love's place, where the illusion of love is accepted in love's place, here's the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. When you accept the illusion of love, this dance and stuff, okay? Love is perceived as separation and exclusion. Super high cost. That's why we're spending so much time on trying to nail down what this false love actually is.
So much pain. And all this other stuff at the top.
And it's big business.
Anxiety, the whole thing. Horrible. Despair.
That means it can't be love.
Yeah. No.
The ego says, no, that's what love is like. When you're really in a strong relationship, there's some anger, there's some hate, there's some distrust, there's even a little bit of cheating on the side. That's just natural. That's what the ego says. The ego says it's anxiety, pain, a little bit of abandonment from time to time. That's what the ego says. It will teach you that love is. But that's the small L love. It's a special relationship. It's what all the country songs are written about. It's too painful, Mai says. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. Because this book introduced to me the idea of a type of love that gives and only gives.
Yes.
And somewhere in my heart, I know that is what I seek. I know that is what must be true. None of this false love lasts. None of it. Zero. So I don't think it's true. I pursued it for a long time. This book says, good for you.
Gives and only gives.
It's not supposed to last. It's what's the basis of separation. There is another way. And if you take my hand, this is Jesus talking. You take my hand, I will show you.
Amen. Yeah.
That's the love I want.
Yeah. And we get it instantly. That's what forgiveness does for us. Is we have a shift in perception that reverses what the ego was doing. The miracle occurs where you see things instead of excluding as inclusive. Then you get a holy instant. Holy instant is when you let your air out and go, it's just calling for love. That angry look in their face, nothing to do with me. It's actually them feeling so terribly uncomfortable, like I felt before. I've been uncomfortable too. And now they're doing it. I'm just going to say, tell me more. You see, I'm reversing. Spacious. Now this argument that was so tight, right, and jammed is spacious. And that person can just open up, say their piece, and they might even ask me how I feel. Whoa. A shift, a reversal.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first time, okay. Maybe not ever.
Ever.
But in your mind, you were the one who opened that space. See, you gave the hug.
Yeah, because like when you accept their pain and you're taking it, you're actually giving it, you're explaining it to them.
Yeah.
Well, you don't take in the pain.
Right?
No, but what I'm saying, you're standing your ground, knowing what they're going through.
Yes, yes.
And with that, taking it in.
Yes.
And and being a listener.
You listener.
Compassion.
Maybe with compassion. Yeah.
Yes.
What I'm saying, and then with an opportunity to explain. Well, I don't know.
So they describe their pain, but you don't share their suffering.
Yeah.
Sounds like Aikido.
That's the mirror.
Yeah.
That's the mirror that you like looking into. Yeah. I see that you understand my pain. Good. Mm-hmm. I recognize myself. But you're not suffering. And you don't think I should suffer either.
The language and experience that I've had is that it's about being heard. Mm-hmm. And that's what you did. You let that person you were in that dynamic with feel heard because you weren't defending it.
Yes.
When somebody comes back and says, well, I did that because, or I didn't need to, or you're interpreting it, when they're defending, I don't feel heard. When somebody just says, okay, this is your experience, then that person feels heard and feels loved. Mm-hmm. And my experience is there doesn't have to be a solution.
Mm-hmm. Just being heard and
but there's a shift that happens.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
And it's freaking magic.
There it is.
It is. It's NDC.
And my frustration in life is not having people that can be that way.
Being validated.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So they're repeating back to you what they heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not even that.
No, I mean, with the intention of comparison.
Just to hit the ball back over the net.
It's just saying, yep, okay. It's just letting what I say, letting how I feel, be to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thanks, Jerome.
You bet.
Have you studied it?
Because it's such magic, and I wish I could bring it to the world. And I don't know how.
Have you studied
NDC? By example. You know what we're talking about here? It's just the basis of what a fire is. Fire has heat, and if there are flammable things, they burn. And if you add more flammable things, it will burn hotter and higher. And everything gets burnt, it's in that proximity. You stop feeding the fire, it gets smaller. And right away. Mm-hmm. It's still burning, it's still damn hot. Mm-hmm. And maybe more damage will occur if you keep sticking your fingers in it. Okay? But you withdraw what's burning, and you can watch that fire first get smaller, and then get cooler, and then you can approach, and maybe let it go out. All because you stopped feeding it. The fire itself will burn and continue to burn as long as there's something to burn. That's what fire does. Mm. Marcia says, all I need is a little space. Yeah. If I can just get a little space, I can do this. That's what we're talking about. A little bit of space so that cycle stops burning. Take a deep breath. Mm. Would you give yourself that little space so that these fires of the ego don't just continue to burn like a bad habit? Would you be willing to go into the receive mode instead of the get mode? Now we know that you feel you must have. And there's some truth to that we'll learn later at a much higher level. Having is indeed being. So Course knows that you need to have. What we're talking about is how do you have? By getting? Or would you be so trusting to go into receive mode? And if you ever catch yourself with your hand outstretched ready to grab something, try turning it over. Go into receive mode, if even just for a moment, to give yourself some space to find out what's there waiting for you. You will be rewarded with peace in the moment, if nothing else. Amen.
Amen.
Good session, group. Hammered it out.
Tonight was one of those nights.
I'm glad you made it.
I know, me too.
So glad I returned.